30 locations. This had to be in their top 10, top 5, and probably one of the best water access points. This is where they sell the seaworthy boats, the yachts.
The huge ones,
maybe they push
the big old Sea Rays.
Different style boats in different markets, right? But now they have this whole huge marina, and they can use their resources and some of their connections to it's just going to change the whole dynamic over there. So now Marine Max, huge facility next to Margaritaville's new concept. Wow, I mean, a lot happening across the street. Marine Max is going to put a lot of money into the old marina. They're going to put some new piers and pilings. I think they're going to put some money into the Admiral, which we've talked about
the
so
event
many
center,
times. The event center, which has literally, the view is phenomenal.
Yes.
It's from Sam's Boat, from that marina, from what this new development's going to have. But really, the Admiral being raised, it is just, you can see the whole lake.
Yeah, the Admiral's right above Sam's Boat. And, of course, to give you a little history, this marina was originally built, I'd say, about 2005. It was the Marker 1 marina then. That's right. It was the Keller family. I actually built the website for them. They used to have the Spirit of Texas paddle boat. And then
I heard some good stories. I heard there was some good times out there.
Lots of good times.
I missed out. Unfortunately, I can't speak first person about that.
It really is amazing. I mean, there's still a lot of awesome, beautiful charter boats. That you can bring a big party. I mean, up to you could probably fit I'd say at least 70 people on some of them, but the paddle boat was unique. That it was an old school paddle boat. I mean, or at least was kind of. I mean, it didn't have the history. It was kind of
the Colonel down in Galveston, but not as big.
Right.
But, very very unique. I'm sure.
But it was So it used to be the Marker 1 Marina, and then Endeavor Holdings, when Endeavor bought all this land, including the land that we're talking about for Margaritaville. And, took down all the old businesses that, like I said, they were going to build multiple high-rise towers here and a couple of hotels, but then the market kind of, as we all know what happened in the 2007, 2008 time period, the real estate market crashed. So that kind of put all Endeavor's plans on hold, but they had kept the marina and operated a very successful dry dock, both marina for a long time. I mean, it's yacht brokers, obviously that's where Jordan started. Jet Surf Houston was based out of there. Just a great facility, and now it's changed hands. Marine Max, nationally, a publicly traded company, one of the biggest names in boating, has now taken it over.
Definitely one of the biggest names.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't sell boats, and not like, of course, you've heard of Marine Max, but I mean, they are like a competitor if in a certain, there's a lot of boat dealers out there, but everybody knows Marine Max is a beast. That's a fact.
Yeah. I guess Marine Max first came into the area. They used to be located off of NASA Road 1, right across from the Johnson Space Center. The old Louis Delhome yacht broker ship. It's now Irma's. But that
Marine Max
that was a Marine Max back in the day. It was first owned by Louis Delhome, who's a very famous yacht broker in the area.
That's right.
And then Marine Max acquired it, I want to say in the late 90s.
And then they built this one.
And then they eventually built this one, yeah.
So, what was over here, John? I'm sure we talked about this
before
Marine Max came in. Because how did they get this like prime time land right there?
I'm trying to remember what exactly was in that spot. We'll have to give that some thought.
It's the same time that they built those houses over there, right. The 5 or 6 really nice houses
on the water.
I feel like all that kind of got developed at one time.
Yeah, because I remember those houses are pretty new too.
That street is, there are a couple flagship streets in the area, obviously, like around the lake, that we could go on and on. But for Seabrook, that street is, you basically have Toddville Road. You've got that street, which is only like,
maybe 7 houses or something.
Maybe 7 houses in one cul-de-sac or whatever, and then you've got a few other ones. And then Seabrook Island, for Seabrook actual addresses, those are like the waterfront primetime spots, like
multi-million-dollar houses.
Absolutely, and they're beautiful. I worked across the street and still ride over there all the time, and just riding by those houses, they're amazing. It's fun to look at.
Well, the cool thing I remember about those houses are, before they're built, you could go back in that cul-de-sac. And, you don't realize how the lake curves, and you could look straight ahead. Back during, I took a famous photo that's been on the cover of my own magazines, but even it was on the cover of the Chamber magazine and a couple other regional magazines, back when we used to have the Ballooner Festival every year in August. And I got a great shot of a Sea Ray in the water, then the balloons in the sky, and NASA, the Johnson Space Center. I got it all in one shot, and it was like this. And I think people probably eventually got sick of this photo because I used it every opportunity I had. As a matter of fact, I think if I pull up a scene, I think it might even be the photo that I have on the staff page across the top. I used it for years but it's just such an awesome
great
shot.
photo. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, it combines NASA, the balloons, which just looked unbelievable in the sky over the Johnson Space Center, and then of course we had a really cool Sea Ray, and then the guy who owned that boat, people reached out to me, and I sent them a digital. It was actually how old this was. I was shooting film, so this is like in the late '90s, maybe very early 2000s, but I was shooting film, so it was just a 35 millimeter shot. And I sent him a scan though of it, and I think he blew it up and put it on his wall or something, but.
You're right. That is a big turn. As soon as you leave my shop and right when you're passing Endeavor, right at the Marine Max, it turns really sharp. So, they do fireworks in Kima a lot of times, and you can see them from where we're at right here. But what's weird is because it turns so much, it kind of plays tricks on you. The fireworks look like they're in a completely different spot than where you would think they are because of how much that turns. So when you picture where Kima is and where the bridge is, and it is kind of interesting, just that topography or whatever, how it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna give you guys the scoop on everything going on. So
that was Margaritaville. Compass by Margaritaville is going to be the kind of the boutique hotel. 12,000. There's going to be 12,000 square feet of event space, like you mentioned, the visitor center, multiple restaurants.
They'll probably have a venue, another venue, kind of like the Admiral. They'll have a little writing spot or something like that. So, like John said, we touched a little bit on some of the kind of the manufacturing and space development that's coming to the area. There's so much of that going on. Lots of medical development, and then what we're touching base on tonight, all of the waterfront development. I mean, everything that's literally coming to the water. So we touch base on
and what we
the
could
stuff
do
across
is
the
we could just kind of we're basically working our way away from the studio. So we just touched off on across the street. You go a little further west down NASA Parkway, and you basically in the city, the city of El Lago and Tail Lake Village, which are the next two small little tiny cities that you hit.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah,
guys.
There's the Taylor Lake Canals.
Yeah, so let's tell them about this because this has really caught my eye. This place has always been an interesting property to me. You and me have talked about this for years. I've even called in on the property and the deal with the city owning it and the guy that's kind of had rights to it forever. One of those situations where someone owns it, but they couldn't get a hold of him for a long time. And then, they started developing some houses, and now they've got this whole new project. So kind of give them the scoop.
And this is pretty ambitious, and this is pretty exciting. And the best part about this is they've already broke ground. I mean, they're on this. Some of these buildings are already on the second story of. This is a $90 million mixed-use development.
$90 million.
Modern living and walkability. It's called Tail Lake Canals. So the northern development, which will be the development, it'll be across from the water, although there is water access because
it's like three. There's the shopping center, the houses on both sides of the road. I mean, it's a very
there's a lot going on. You've already seen a lot of these really nice waterfront homes right on Taylor Lake, right. They're very visible from the bridge.
It's a small peninsula there.
Yeah,
right in front of Boondoggles. In Valdo's, you can see it. It's another little bridge, like you said, going right over Taylor Lake.
They've been building those homes. They probably started about a year and a half ago, I'd say, or so.
That's fair.
They're up on stilts. They're raised.
They look like they're stormproof. It looks like they can ride it out. They're up to code, obviously, like they've upped it because they look pretty sturdy and pretty high up.
No, you're right. The framing and everything looks very sturdy. I mean,
the highest for anything around here.
Yeah.
I mean, everything, there's some stuff that's been raised around here, but there hasn't been neighborhoods built on stilts besides Toddville Road.
Right,
really,
yeah.
I mean,
truthfully, in a lot of ways, I mean, I guess if I lived there, I'd want to be up on stilts, but I sold a house last year right across the little canal there, right in El Lago, that's on the water, that's not on stilts.
Little cul-de-sac kind of street.
Been there. I think it was built in the late 60s, and it's never flooded. Now there are parts of El Lago that have flooded, and there's even a couple homes on that street because that street kind of dips down as you get closer to Boondoggles. There's this little area between the house I'm talking about that's on the water and Boondoggles, which is a very popular pub in the area that have flooded. But yeah, these are up on stilts, the homes. But there's going to be 6 condo buildings with 72 units.
Yeah, this is.
There's going to be 3-bedroom
going up now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be 24 will be 3-bedroom penthouses. 48 will be 2-bedroom condos. They'll be from the 300s to the 500s.
I better get on the penthouse list.
Right. First floor will have retail and office space. There's 2 restaurants planned. And then this is what we were talking about. Also under construction are 34 gated single-family homes. And that could be, I know the area we're talking about is gated. I think probably to get up to 34 homes, they're probably going to be including another little area off the peninsula, I imagine, because I don't think you could squeeze 34 homes.
Yeah, no.
Into
so
that peninsula,
it's
probably
across,
24 maybe or something.
So it's across the street. They're going to have a couple bigger lots right where that big boat is that's parked in that undeveloped land across from what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's not behind the Jack in the Box and all that. That's separate. But right on the canal, they're going to put in another like 10, 12 houses right there. So that's what's going to, I think, make that neighborhood on both sides of Nass Road 1, the 34.
Yeah, and where the 72 units are, the 6 condo buildings, it's if you can picture the corner of NASA Parkway and Kirby.
That's right.
Right across the street from the Apple Tree, or not Apple Tree. Now it's what's it called? What's the grocery store? Arlen's. Yeah, this property. Most recently, it's been basically an abandoned building. But before that, it was Boat Superstore.
Yeah,
you probably remember that.
Yeah,
for a long time. When I was growing up, I actually grew up in the neighborhood across the street. At one point, it was a couple different kind of like low end department stores. At one time, there was a Lax department store, and then it was something after that, whose name escapes me, but
that was before or after the Boat Superstore.
That was before, all before.
Yeah.
No, the Boat Superstore I think was the last thing I can remember being there, and then it's been.
And did they have water access? I know they were on the canal, but could you drive your boat up to them, and could they pull it out and
Boat
fix it?
Superstore you could, although it's been obvious they've really enhanced that, and I think they've even dug more into it. So obviously they're making these condo buildings waterfront.
Yeah,
and you
looks
can't
like there's
get
a pool too,
and you can't get out. I mean, obviously, this is kind of on Taylor Lake, but you can, you just go underneath the bridge and you're out into Clear Lake and beyond. You can't have a big old sailboat. You're not going to get under the bridge.
Yeah, that's the only thing is
in that area. Yeah, you have to, any area where you got to cross underneath Nass Road 1, you're not going to have a lot of luck with a sailboat.
Yeah, Taylor Lake, or there's a couple different neighborhoods. The other big one that's water access that has to get through is Lake Cove.
Lake Cove, yeah. Now, the southern development, which is the old El Lago Marina area, it's that, and it's also used to be the condos right there behind Gabachos, that wrapped around Gabachos that were basically pretty much, they were pretty much destroyed, not destroyed, but flooded Hurricane Ike. So they're going to have, and this is interesting, they will have a floating barge with the restaurant. With outdoor dining, entertainment. I heard rumors of a brewery. Of course, every development,
We're going to talk about all these breweries. Everything's popular right now, too. They're still coming up everywhere.
Every time I read a prospectus for a new development, they're always trying to work in a brewery. And that goes
100%, dude. Yeah,
and that goes to my saying. You can't be you're not really a real city anymore unless you have a brewery. You have to have a neighborhood brewery, right?
John, I think you just got in too early, man.
Yeah, I definitely
got in too early, brother.
Yeah. And for those who aren't picking up on what Jordan's talking about, is that back in the day,
that's right, man.
A buddy of mine, Mike Taylor and I, we started what was the only brewery in Galveston County for about 3 years. Yeah,
got John on Discovery Channel. It was a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, we kind of were the tip of the spear when we started that. The nearest brewery was the big Anheuser-Busch plant at I-10 and 610, which is about a 35-minute drive from here.
And what's crazy is this wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah, this is
let's be real,
2011.
Yeah, 10 years, and look what's happened. Look what's happened.
It's so awesome. Yeah,
God, wow.
One day for 3 years we were the only. Well, not actually. I probably shouldn't even say 3 years. Probably 2+ years we were the only brewery in Galveston County, and then probably within the next 3 years after that, 6 or 7 opened up, which is awesome. We were all for it, and I publicized them all in my magazine, and we were all brothers in brew. We all met weekly, and had traveled to each other's brewery. We
You had a sister in brew too.
Yeah, sisters. Yeah, so, actually a couple. Yeah, both Sylvia, who's my co-host on the Galactic Coast Power Hour show, and then also
which is where I got my start on radio.
Yeah,
Boom.
and then
coming
also
on John's show
over in Alvin. There was Fetching Lab Brewery that was one of the brewers was a